Okay, this is Let's Talk Football here with my playoff predictions. So let's just get right into it. Okay, so the Texans and Colts matchup. I think the Houston Texans will come out on top because I think that that with Deshaun Watson running the football and the fact that Kiki QT is coming back, and it should give them another threat on offense to throw it to since Demaryius Thomas is out. I think the Texans will win the game, and also I think that defense will finally stop T.Y. Hilton, who they have been unable to stop this whole year, and win the game. So I think Andrew Luck is a great player. I think their offensive line is great. I think the Colts will definitely score points and keep it a close game, but I just see the Texans with Deshaun Watson running the football now, and Texans allowing him to because they don't have great wide receiver threats. I just see the Texans coming out on top and winning the game. Even though that Colts defense has been playing really well, I think Deshaun Watson running the football just adds another threat to the game, and he'll end up winning it for them, for the Texans. So the Ravens and Chargers. I have the Ravens winning this one because I think the Baltimore Ravens with that defense and that run game, I just don't think the Chargers can handle it. Even though the Chargers do have a great defense and a great offense, I think the problem is that the Ravens can just keep the ball away from the Chargers, with Lamar Jackson running the football and their creative offense with the run game that they do and the play action off of it. I just think the Ravens can take advantage of the Chargers like they did in the game when they originally played them. So I think the Ravens come out on top on that because I think just Phillip Rivers, it's a great defense and it's going to be hard, and most of his receivers are most of his players are battling through injuries like Keenan Allen, Melvin Gordon, Austin Eckler. So I just think that the Ravens are going to come out on top and win it. Okay, so for the Seahawks and Cowboys, I have the Seahawks winning that one because I think they could just the way they've been running the football and the fact that Russell Wilson's been in the playoffs, he's done it, and the Cowboys have not shown that they can win a playoff game recently. I just think with Russell Wilson there, Russell Wilson's gonna and Tyler Lockett and Doug Baldwin, and Chris Carson, there's just a lot they have on offense going for them. And I think defensively, they're not as bad as everyone thinks. I think they'll stop Dallas in the run up front, and make them pass it, which hopefully Amari Cooper can be a threat for them on Dallas, to help them try to win the game. But I just think the Seahawks are going to probably double Amari, probably take him, out of the game because they know that he'll be the only passing threat that they really need to account for. So I think they win that game. We have the Eagles and Bears. I think the Bears are going to win this game. I think it's not going to be as close as everyone thinks. I think Nick Foles is a great quarterback, but he does have bruised ribs right now, and that Bears defense is just so good. It's going to be swarming. I don't think Nick Foles might try to take some shots, but I don't know if it's going to work. Those players are great. Their safeties are great. Their linebackers are great. Corners, defensive line, they're just great everywhere. I don't think the Eagles can score points, and I think the Bears, the Bears offensively, I think the Bears can torch that Eagles secondary because of all the injuries the Eagles have in the secondary. They've lost so many players this year in the secondary. They only have kind of Malcolm Jenkins that's left there out of pretty much all their starters coming into the season. So yeah, I think the Bears will come out on top, and I don't think that game will be as close. I think all the other three games are going to be really close, but I do not think the Bears won and the Eagles won't be close. So, okay, so these are the playoff matchups for the divisional round. So the Texans and Patriots would be playing, and out of that one, I have to go with the Texans again. I do not see a threat on that Patriots offense besides James White that will be a problem for the Texans. I think James White will probably be the biggest threat that the Patriots have to the Texans, and besides that, I don't see anyone else because Gronk, he's not the same. Julian Edelman's good, but I think the Texans corners can handle Julian Edelman. The Texans corners only really struggle with speed. speed receivers and receivers that can go deep, and I just don't think the Patriots have that right now. So I think the Texans are going to come out and win the game. I mean, the Texans have a great defensive line. The Patriots have like one of the worst offensive lines they've ever had. I think the Texans will get a great pass rush, and the Texans have a great game defensively. And I think, up front for the Patriots only have Trey Flowers that's really going to hurt that Texans bad O-line. I mean, they do have some other great players, but Trey Flowers is the biggest threat. And I think, once again, with Deshaun Watson running the football, the Patriots always struggle to handle rushing quarterbacks. So I think, and then, the Texans have another threat. So when they double DeAndre, which they will, because it's always what the Patriots do, Keke should be there. And then also Deshaun should have the tight ends to throw it to, the running backs. And I just think the Texans are really well matched up against this Patriots team. And the last time they played, it was pretty close. And I think the Texans will come out on top this time and make it to the divisional round. Okay, so for the Baltimore Ravens versus the Kansas City Chiefs, I think the Baltimore Ravens are gonna win this game. I think the defense and once again Lamar Jackson running the football and the running backs. I think the Ravens, defensively, I mean, the Ravens almost beat the Chiefs last time. Patrick Mahomes threw up a deep shot. It was a perfect pass. I mean, it was a beautiful pass, but I mean, it was a lucky play on that crucial fourth down, and they lost the game. I think, in this game, that's not going to happen. I think the Ravens defense will hold Mahomes. I think it'll still be close. But I think they'll handle Mahomes good enough to where they can win the game, and I think Lamar will run the ball over the Chiefs defense. So, now going to the Seahawks versus Saints. I think the Saints will come out on top because their offense is really, really good, and I think they'll score a lot on that inexperienced Seahawks defensive secondary, and I just think they'll win it because I don't see the Seahawks secondary. I don't see anyone in there being able to handle Michael Thomas. I don't know how well they're going to handle the 1-2 punch of Kamara and Mark Ingram. I think the Saints are a really good team, and they're really good defensively. I think their defense is really good. I think they can sack Russell Wilson against that Seahawks defensive line. I don't think they'll completely stop the Seahawks run. I think this will be a really close game. It's a really tough matchup, but I think the Saints win it. It's just Drew Brees is a really good quarterback. I think they have better coaching right now, the Saints, and I just think the Saints will win the game. Okay, once again, we have the Bears versus the Rams, and the Bears already beat them once in Soldier Field. This time it's in LA, but I still think the Bears will win this game. I think the Bears are just too much to handle defensively for the Rams, and without Cooper Kupp, the Rams have really struggled. Jared Goff has played really bad without Cooper Kupp, and it's just that the Cooper Kupp's been missing for that Rams offense, and it looks like a whole different thing. And I just think that the Bears can handle them, can handle everything the Rams will try to do offensively. I think the Bears offense will help them out in the game, but I think the Bears defense is going to put them in positions to where that offense will not have to go like 75 yards to score. So I think the Bears they'll probably be a really low scoring game, but I still think the Bears will win it because I just think they're better coached. They have a really good defense, and the defense will win it for them. Okay, so we have the Texans versus the Rams in the championship game. The Texans versus the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Baltimore Ravens are going to come out and win this one, and it's not going to be close. I mean, the Ravens will destroy the Texans in this matchup because the Ravens' defensive line will just give the Texans' offensive line so much trouble they won't be able to do anything. I think the Texans defensively up front can kind of handle what the Ravens try to do, and I think passing-wise, the Ravens will struggle. I think both teams in this matchup are going to struggle offensively. But I think the Ravens defense can put the Ravens defense can put the Ravens offense in good positions to score, because I think they'll probably create a lot of turnovers, probably get a lot of sacks, and they'll have really good field position, which can help them score more easily. And I think that's what's going to happen. And I think they'll win the game if that matchup does happen. So I have the Ravens going to the Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson. I mean, the defense, the run, Lamar Jackson running it. I mean, they're just such a threat, and I don't think anyone can really in the AFC can really stop them. I mean, besides the Chiefs, and I think the Chiefs are the only team that can stop the Ravens from making it to the Super Bowl. At least that's what I think. So, and then for the Bears and the Saints, I think the Bears are going to win this matchup. The Saints have no threat receiving wise besides Michael Thomas, and the Bears secondary is phenomenal. Well, and I think that Kyle Fuller or Prince Kamara, whoever is covering Michael Thomas, will have an easy time, because they can just double Michael Thomas, and then they don't have any threat to throw it to receiver wise. I mean, they could throw it to Kamara or Ingram out of the backfield, but you can't do that every single play. And I think Michael Thomas can't be the only receiving threat for that team. And then that defensive line against that offensive line. I mean, the Saints' offensive line is good, but the Bears' defensive line is amazing. And I think it's just gonna affect the game. And then I think the Bears offense can score points. Like, they'll figure out a way to score points with Matt Nagy there, and he's just gonna figure out how to score points. That's what they've done all year. They figured out some way to score points, and whatever he does, it works. So the Super Bowl matchup I have is the Chicago Bears versus the Baltimore Ravens. Now, this is a really interesting matchup, because I have both the reasons why I think these teams are going to win is because their defense and their offenses aren't as bad as everyone thinks. So, but I think the Bears are a really well coached team. They have a really great defense, really great defensive coordinator. They have an okay offense with a really good offensive coordinator. I think the Ravens are the same way. They're really coached up well defensively, and their offense is really good with what they do with the running game and the scheme. But I think the Bears are going to win this one, and it's because the Bears defense is just better than the Ravens, and the Bears offense is just better than the Ravens, and I think the Bears are more well coached than the Ravens, and I think the Bears are going to come out on top and win the Super Bowl. And I've already said it, the Bears can just, do so many things. They have so many threats defensively. Offensively, they can just get it done. Even though they're not the best offense, they can still score points and win games. So I think the Bears will end up winning the Super Bowl, and they'll be my Super Bowl team. So there we go. I have the Bears winning the Super Bowl, and if the Bears and the Ravens do play in the Super Bowl, my guess for MVP for the Super Bowl would be Khalil Mack. It would if the Bears make a Super Bowl and they play anyone else besides the Ravens, it would probably be Eddie Jackson, just because he's so good. Eddie Jackson's such a good safety in the pass game and makes so many plays. But I have it as Khalil Mack because they're going to be running the football a lot, and Khalil Mack should help stop them. So I think that's my Super Bowl predictions right there. So I have the Bears winning it all for the Super Bowl. Coaching, defense, that's just the reason why I have them winning it.